Good day, welcome back to Khmer Green. Today I have a few more ripe figs to try out. So let's get right in. This one is Macool. It's not really properly ripe, but I'm going to try it out anyway. It has a little crack split on top of it, so I'm not sure what causing that. Next to it is Montanha Verde. Last video I already tasted this one, but this time the fruit is a little smaller. It's not a little, it's a lot smaller. So I'm not sure if it's any different in flavor or like taste or anything regarding to the size, because in my previous video the smaller fig from the same variety it usually more have better flavor and more sweet. In the middle here, the yellow one is a Campaniere. This one, the tree, it have quite a few fruit, but all of it dropped. Only one is still hanging and ripe. Next to it is the I258 or Italian 258. This one is a small fruit, so it's from my 5 years old tree. And next to this one is the same variety I258, but just a lot bigger fruits, and it have a honey drooping out from its eyes. So maybe it's sweeter than the one that doesn't have. Let's try them out. And behind it is also I258, but just like a less ripe. So I want to taste less ripe, probably ripe, to taste what the difference. And this one is also have a honey dropping out from the eye. For this guy in the back here is I258 also, but it's from my first year tree, and it's actually when it changing color, it's not really ripe. It's just a go spoil, go bad. So it's not a ripe fruit at all. For this one is Smith. I already tasted this one in my previous video, but this time it's different because it has a honey dropping out. It's a lot. It dropped from the fruit and it fall down on the ground. So I believe this one is gonna be more sweeter. And also when this one ripe, it was no rain at all. It's nice and warm, so probably a better taste compared to the previous one. I also bring along these three guys from a store-bought Whole Food, my friend. Look at what they're selling. This one is a black mission type. This guy in the middle is a brown turkey, I believe. And the last one, the green one, I don't know what is that. Okay, now let me bite into it. First of all, Macool. Wow, this one surprised me. I don't pick up any flavor, so I don't really know it's a berry flavor or anything. But for the sweetness, it's medium, but it's very jammy. I feel I like this one, and it really surprised me a lot because when I see it, it doesn't look any good at all. But when I bite into it, this one is really changed something. Now for Montanha Verde. Interesting this one. Compared to the previous one from the previous video, this one has more flavor and a bit more sweeter. But again, I don't really put my finger on what berry is it, but it really has a lot of berry. Let me taste again. This one really interesting. It tastes kind of unique, but it's not really jammy as the bigger one, probably because it's smaller fruit, so it has less meat. That's why it's not really jammy, but it tastes better, a little better than the bigger one. That's interesting, right? Okay, now Campaniere. Also exciting to try this one out. Look at the texture of the fruits. Look like very sweet. Let me bite into. For Campaniere, it's very sweet, and the texture is a bit different from the other two. It kind of like eating into a melon, like the texture when you bite into melon, like crunchy, and yeah, crunchy and sweet. Okay, so far so good. Now let's go into the I258. This one from a 5 years old tree. Again, this one is smaller, so maybe it's going to beat the bigger one. Let's see. Wow, for this guy, I never imagined like this. It's super sweet, like really eating jam. So when people say I258 is like eating jam, yes, it really is. It like you scoop out the jam and then you eat it. That's how it tastes. It like that. I cannot believe how sweet this one can get. Very impressed with this one. Okay, now the bigger fruit that also have a honey dropping out. The eye-to-fruit egg, it's super sweet. If you have never tasted eye-to-fruit egg before, you will be surprised. As I am, when I see people do tasting, I wonder myself, it really that sweet? But now, yeah, it's like you eating jam, very sweet, almost too sweet for me. I need to drink water. Okay, now another eye-to-fruit egg, but less ripe. But it also have a honey dropping from the eye. Alright, for the less ripe eye-to-fruit eggs, I feel I prefer this one more for the sweetness. It's not super sweet like the perfectly ripe, but also has nice flavor. It's just a little less intense as the perfectly ripe, but it still have flavor there. And I personally prefer the less ripe one because I found perfectly ripe, it's just too sweet. It's like eating jam, and I don't really like jam from the jar. And also, I almost forgot to mention that the skin of the eye-to-fruit egg is kind of thick, and so when you chew into it, it really have bite onto it. Okay, next, the last one from the homegrown is the Smith that have a honey dropping. Let me try this. For the perfectly ripe Smith that has honey dropping, it's jammy. It's not overly sweet, but also have a berry flavor. I detect a strawberry, and it kind of medium in the middle. The berry flavor is not the most intense or not nothing. It's in the middle. Okay, now let's go for the store-bought. Okay, so for the black mission, inside it amber color, and it very syrupy, surprisingly. This one is a lot better than I expected. It's very jammy, surprisingly, and also sweet. For the flavor berry, I feel like some kind of melons. It's not a berry, it's a kind of melon. So surprisingly, it's very good fig though. Okay, so for the next one is brown turkey, English brown turkey. This one doesn't look any good. Inside like dry out and doesn't have any honey or look not really jammy. But let me buy. For this English brown turkey, the flavor is less favorable compared to black mission. The sweetness is also less. But the texture is very similar. It's like jammy and kind of mushy, something like that. It doesn't have any berry flavor, but it kind of fruits, but I don't know what fruit this one flavor of this one. But probably this one underripe. That's why it tastes like that, because look at the cyconium. It's very thick. Okay, for the last guy, don't even know what kind of fig this one, but it look very good though inside. It very jammy. I believe it's going to be very sweet, and a lot of it here. Probably this one is Caprify. Let me taste. So for the last one, it's I believe it's honey type because it tastes like a honey, and sweet is kind of medium. It's very similar sweetness these three from a store-bought, and the texture is also very similar. Okay, so overall I really happy with my fig here, and I glad that I start to grow in my own figs. So if you haven't start your own fig yet, you should consider it if you have space and the time to do it, because the homegrown figs it really tastes something different. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a like because it can help spread the word, and also subscribe are always welcome. Thank you. I see you next video. Bye bye.